Hi all, welcome back to this channel. So in this video, I'll teach you how to set up Django. Django is a web framework which is used to build high-end complex web applications. So Django is an open source Python library which is built purely for web application. It also has a database integration within it. And I'll teach you everything what needs to be learned and what is Django overall. To do this in your system, the first thing you need, or the prerequisite which you need, is um, Python. So if you have Python 3 installed, Django also works with Python 2, but then the latest version of Python is Python 3. So please go ahead and install Python 3. And that is just going forward and opening your favorite web browser and then just typing Python. I'll just quickly show you how to do that. Open your browser and type Python, and you should be able to from online. That's python.org. That is the only prerequisite which you need to have. Go your downloads and then install directly. Right. I already have Python installed, so I'm not going to do that now. Um, I'll directly start with Django because Django is something which I'm going to teach in this video. So the next thing what we need to do is open up terminal. Yeah. And here if you see Python 3 minus version, it says I have Python 3 installed in my laptop. So this is all the prerequisite which is required. So next thing is going ahead and creating the setup required for Django. So what I'll do is I'll head over to my D drive where I have all my program files which I save for programming. Create a folder and call it Django, and I'll go into Django. Yeah, here is where I do the development. So before I start with installing any other things, the first thing I would want to do is create a virtual environment. So virtual environment is something very unique in Python. So it is created for each of your projects separately if you're working on different kind of projects. So Python is a variety of Python. We can use Python to do a variety of jobs, be it from visualization, analysis, dashboarding, web applications, and whatnot. So what virtual environment does is it will keep all of your projects in a different environment. So that is why we use the virtual environment. So if you're interested to learn more about virtual environments, I have another video which will come up soon. So the link is at the top. You can go there and learn about virtual environment in detail. But here I will teach you what Django is. So here we'll create a virtual environment that we do by typing the command python minus -m. So what this does is it will create a Python environment called virtual environment called VENV. It will take a couple of seconds to create all of the setup and then it will create all of this required folder structure. So let's give it a second and wait until it does that. So one thing you need to know about this virtual environment is every time you create this once for each project and then you activate it every time you use this environment. It has now created the virtual environment. How do I know that is by typing ls because I can see the folder called env. Go inside the env and you will see all of this folder structure within itself created, and we need to go inside scripts, and that is where you activate your virtual environment. So there's an this is not cd, and I will activate. So the other options how you do activate your virtual environment is listed here. This is how you go and activate your virtual environment. So once it's done, go back to your folder structure, and this is where you have your virtual environment. So now you need to create your Django applications here. That you do. Before doing that, we need to install Django. So how do we do that? Is by pip install Django and enter. So this should install Django and set it up in your virtual environment. And again, if you do this install and then within your virtual environment, and then if you try to access this again outside the environment, this will not work. So this Django installation is purely within your virtual environment. Yeah, Django is now installed. You can check that by typing Django admin minus Django admin minus version. It should say the version of Django I have. Yeah, I have 6.0.3. And the best place to start learning Django is to go ahead to Django projects. For any of your question regarding Django, this should be the first place you reach out to, djangoprojects.com. And this will help you understand everything related to Django. And if you see this, if you see how to install Django, this is what we just did now. And we have the latest version of Django that is 6.0.3. You see that is the same version we have installed in our machine as well. So once that is done, we can go ahead and learn how to set it up. So this is a documentation page where you have everything in detail, step by step, how to install, how to update, how to do all sort of things. And if you clearly want to go ahead and learn from the documentation, this is the place where you do it. But in this video, I'll just show you how to like directly create it and use it. So the first thing you do is Django admin start project and give your project name something like YouTube video. Don't You can give your whatever the project name you want instead of YouTube video. I'm just creating this name with this name because it's for a YouTube tutorial, right? Or I'll give it as YouTube tutorial. Right now, if you see, this has created a YouTube tutorial. Go into YouTube tutorial and see what is there here. It has managed.py and YouTube tutorials. So I'll go ahead and open this in my Visual Studio Code. And to open the shortcut to open your project space within Visual Studio Code is just type code and space. The space is to say that you have to open the code from the current project space. Right, I'll just open it. Yeah, the folder structure, how this project space will be is you'll have of yeah, I just trust the author because I'm the author. You will have settings.py, urls.py, and manage.py. So manage.py will be outside of your project space, and all of this will be within your YouTube tutorial thing. So this is your main app, and then what we do is we create a app inside that. That we do by Django admin start app. So earlier, if you remember, it was start project, and here it is start app. And what we do is we give an app name. So here I'll give something like tutorial, right? And this will create a folder within YouTube tutorial or outside tutorial, and then it'll create within YouTube tutorial, I guess. Oh wait, I shouldn't have created that. So Django startup will create a tutorials folder. And within this, if you see, there is admin, apps, models, tests, and views. One thing which you need to create here is urls.py. So this is to link with the main app. So what you do is go here under urls.py and then include, then create a path to include your project. That you do by giving include and in a single quotes give tutorial dot URLs. This should now connect to your tutorial.urls and you give a comma after this. All right. So this is the first thing you need to keep in mind. And the second thing is here, let me quickly. So the second thing what you need to do is import the required things. Uh, that is from Django.urls First thing you need to import is import path. And the second thing is you should import some dot import views. So view, yeah. And then you need to paste a URL pattern that you do by, so the pattern which you do to include URLs pattern is this. Give the page what you need to, where you need to render this, and you need to write a function. Here I'll just say tutorial, and within the name I'll just give tutorial. And within views, I should create, what is wrong here? Let's see, tutorial, def, tutorial, and request, passing a request parameter, return vendor, return city response of hello. And you need to import HTTP response. So this HTTP response we have to import it from Django.http import HTTP res response. So now if you see this thing and this thing is here, configuration is done. So just go ahead here and clear this, and then Python to start the app or launch the app in your localhost. The command which you need to pass in is python manage.py run server. This will give you a HTTP link which you can see the browser, which you can see in the browser with the output which you've actually passed in here. If you see the output what we passed is hello, and once this server is started, we might be able to open up the link which it gives in the browser, and then we'll be able to see the HTTP response. Yeah, name include is not defined. Did you mean include? There's a spelling mistake in urls.py. Yes. Now it'll reload by itself, and it should quickly show up our app in browser. Let's give it a second before it reloads. It says no module called tutorial. That's a spelling mistake again. It's in settings. If we come here under the install app, yeah, sure. Tutorial dot, yeah. Now if you see, this is the link which it says that it has a localhost open. I'll quickly open up the browser, and then if I paste this link here, we should be able to see the hello which we gave. There's a comma in our path which we need to remove. So now come here and reload, and we should be, yeah, we have, and if you see the hello, here is something which we typed here. And let me change the text here and see under the views. Hello world. So this should automatically come up here once I reload the browser. Yeah, this is hello world. And this is it for this video. This is just setting up and launching Django application, web application. So in the next video, I'll show you how to render a web page or an HTML content into this space, and then all the other advanced things what we can do in Django. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and share it with your friends who are eager to learn Django. And yeah, see you in the next one.